right, guys, welcome back to the 5-minute Tele-Physio Talks, the longest title for the shortest interview. Pretty excited today. We will be interviewing Sarah Berger, who is a fellow Wadsworth grad with both Dr. Tim and myself. She is actually a national champion. She ran for Walsh in the 1500, and then also a national champion in cross country, not only individually, but her team won that national championship as well. Both of those in 2018. You might be curious as to why she went from one school to another. She's actually at Grand Valley right now working on her master's of physician assistant studies. So not only a scholar, but also a scholar athlete. So let me brag on her a little bit there. What I'll do from here is I'll pass it on to Tim and he'll start into that interview.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Thanks, Sarah, for being on our little tiny show today and taking the time out of your day. So question number one, we are curious that you've not always been, Sarah the runner. We were wondering if you could give us a little bit of background on yourself as an athlete in your transition to becoming running as your primary sport. It hasn't always been that way, apparently.
Yeah, I started playing soccer when I was like 3 or 4. So I was always a soccer player and refused to play like any other sport growing up, no matter how much my parents tried to get me to. And then I started running because in 8th grade I was like what's called trapped. So like I'm a summer birthday, so all of my teammates were going to high school and I was still in middle school. So like in the fall, I didn't have a team to play on, so my mom made me run cross country to stay in shape, and I hated it. But I turned out to be like kind of okay, good at it. But then I went to high school, and I was like, I'm not running track because I hate running, and I'm not going to do that. And then Coach Burton like pressured me into it, not in a bad way, but he pretty much like was like, you have to run, and I was like, I guess. And then I still didn't like it, and I pretty much didn't like it until my sophomore year of college.
So from someone who says they discovered that they were kind of okay at cross country, being that you were NCAA national champion as an individual title. So interesting definition. But do you ever wish that you had been running your whole career, instead of making that transition from, I think you transitioned to cross country, you were runner up for Walsh, right? And then you won the national championship with GVSU. Do you have any desire that you wish you'd been running the whole time from a cross country standpoint?
Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I probably would have been better if I had been running longer. Like maybe I could have gotten to a different level or done this or that. But I don't think I would have, like if I would have joined a cross country program, like even my freshman year of college, I don't think I would have made it because I didn't have like a love for running. And if you want to run cross country, you really have to love it. But I think that my freshman year of college, Coach Zico sent me our training program for winter training, which was like my first real running training, and I had to run 30 miles a week, and I like died. I didn't know how to run on my own. I didn't know how to do all that stuff. So I think I wouldn't have like made it. I would have been a dropout.
and that's kind of interesting that you bring up like just like in terms of like the volume of what you're doing. I feel like a lot of the people who'll be interested in who'll be collegiate athletes. Can you give us this little snapshot of when you were running at that high level of winning the 1500, winning cross country? What was your volume like? Like what kind of mileage was going? What were the workouts like that you were doing that kind of put you at that level? I think a lot of college runners would be interested in hearing that.
Yeah. So it's really, depending on your program, it's a lot different. But like when I was at Walsh, I started out like low mileage, like, when I started like 30 miles a week. And then towards the end, I was doing like 60 miles a week. I think the most I've ever run is like 62 miles a week at Grand Valley. But so Walsh, we would just do all singles. So we would never double, but, you lift twice a week and we did circuit 2 workouts a week and a long run.
And it's kind of crazy to hear the amount of volume that goes into, a fast race, a fast 1500 or 5K in the track or, cross country race. And with that, there's obviously pounding that goes in your body, which is why we've known you for a long time. I think it's been 3 years that we've worked together, and you even going back to knowing my wife when she was your high school coach, our assistant coach in high school, Jenny. How has POPS, how has our process, which is a little unique for runners, kind of helped you on that journey, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, a lot. You guys helped a ton. Like I was hobbling through runs, and then between like all the different techniques that you guys do, it really got me through, I think, like my last couple of years of running to now the point where I'm pain free actually in my Achilles, which is amazing because I dealt with that for literal years.
Is there one certain technique that you feel like was like the bang for your buck go-to technique when you needed a boost in your recovery?
I think the combination of dry needling and like the ART really helps a lot. And I like the scraping too because it just feels good. I think it like loosens everything up at the end. So I don't know, the whole gamut.
Yeah,
I can't pick one.
Yeah, you're probably not the only person in that category who say the same thing. Just looking at, like I said, probably a lot of collegiate runners are going to be looking, out for advice and maybe not having exactly the supervision from their coach that they're looking for. What is some advice you would give to someone in this COVID-19 era that an athlete can do at home to kind of continue to chase PRs, recover well, and keep training moving forward? What are things you think athletes can be doing right now?
I mean, number one right now is just like make sure you're running by yourself and socially distant, because if you get sick, it's kind of over for you for a while. But other than that, just like make sure you're doing your like prehab. Don't just hammer every run because you have time and you feel like, oh, I'm not racing for a while, so I'm just going to go super hard in all my training. Like that's just going to get you burnt out or injured. Or
do you have a favorite warm up or cool down that's like your go-to?
The eccentric things for my Achilles that you gave me, I do those like all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the heel drop negatives.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite thing.
Well, we appreciate that advice and you taking the time to talk to us. Let me transition back over to Dr. Mike over there, and he can close us out.
If there's someone to be listening to about doing your homework, Sarah would be the right one. She's only a couple months off from being a physician's assistant, so very well versed in that medical field, and we appreciate the advice. So for those of us who are maybe not running pain-free right now, Dr. Tim and I are still offering telehealth visits. We will video in just like we're doing with Sarah right here. We can kind of do some evaluation, some screening, and let us put together a good program to start advancing you forward. And then maybe you are in the world of running pain-free, but trying to figure out what the next step is. We actually have pretty good benefit from using the telehealth to help out there as well to progress you in the right direction. We're running that same discount code if it's RUN, capital R, capital U, capital N, where we're offering that to our listeners for a discounted telehealth visit. I'll close out from there. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Sarah, and helping us out. It's good seeing you, and we're excited to get to see you back in the clinic as we keep advancing you forward and let you keep running even outside of this post-college career. So thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.